Wing Week.
Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the president spoke in the aftermath of the shootings at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C., invited small business owners to the White House as he spoke on the 5th anniversary of the financial crisis, welcomed the Amir of Kuwait, newly appointed foreign ambassadors, and Youth of the Year winners, and the First Lady spoke on marketing healthier food to children. That's September 13th to September 19th, or every moment of every day.
I've got the privilege of serving as your president. I will spend every moment of every day I have left fighting to restore security and opportunity for the middle class and to give everyone who works hard a chance to get ahead.
On Friday, the president invited the Amir of Kuwait and his delegation into the Oval Office for a bilateral meeting, where the issue at the top of their list was the ongoing effort to rid Syria of their chemical weapons.
I repeated what I've said publicly, which is that any agreement needs to be verifiable and enforceable.
The president then sat down for an interview in the library with the chief political correspondent for ABC News, George Stephanopoulos.
I want to make sure that we've got an economy in which Main Street's winning.
On Monday, the president addressed the South Court Auditorium on the 5-year anniversary of the financial crisis. But before he did, he spoke on the shootings at the Navy Yard in Washington.
Anytime we send our thoughts and prayers to all at the Navy Yard who've been touched by this tragedy.
In his remarks, he spoke about the economy and how it would benefit from Congress fulfilling its responsibility to pass a budget and pay the bills they've already incurred.
This country has worked too hard for too long to dig out of a crisis just to see their elected representatives here in Washington purposely cause another crisis. Let's stop the threats. Let's stop the political posturing. Let's keep our government open. Let's pay our bills on time. Let's pass a budget. Let's work together to do what the American people sent us here to do. Create jobs, grow our economy, expand opportunity. That's what we need to do.
Those 11 people standing with the president as he spoke were small business owners, construction workers, HAMP homeowners, teachers, and tax cut recipients who had benefited from the president's economic recovery proposals over the last 5 years. After the president finished speaking, they were led through the West Wing up to the Oval Office to spend a few minutes with the president.
What's your name?
The president then got on the phone with over 6,000 volunteers and organizers from across the country who are working on the full implementation of the Affordable Care Act.
You've got millions of Americans who are already seeing benefits.
On Tuesday, the president discussed immigration reform, among other topics, with Jose Diaz-Balart of Telemundo.
And the only thing that's holding it back right now is John Boehner calling it to the floor because we've got a majority of members of Congress who would vote for it right now if it hits.
Then, 9 foreign ambassadors and their families arrived at the White House to mark the formal beginning of their service in Washington. Then the president made a call to Pauline Beck to tell her the home health care rule had been finalized. In 2007, then Senator Barack Obama spent a day working alongside Pauline, getting to know the daily life and concerns of a home health care worker. Now, as president, he's taken action that will require home health care workers to receive at least a minimum wage and overtime protections, from which they were previously excluded. On Wednesday, the president traveled to the Business Roundtable headquarters in Washington, D.C., where he spoke with a group of business leaders who cared deeply that Congress should not risk the full faith and credit of the United States of America.
The good news is that every one of the challenges that we confront, they're all solvable. We have good ideas. There's actually pretty good consensus in terms of how we might move forward. The problem is right now that this town, Washington, is locked up.
Then, back at the White House, he invited the 2013 Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year winners into the Oval Office.
It's so great to have you here, partly because it's good to just lift up such positive young people, but also because you guys are great role models for the folks coming up behind you.
Meanwhile, in the state dining room, the First Lady called on companies to leverage the power of marketing to promote healthy products to kids.
Right now, your companies employ some of the most brilliant, creative, innovative minds in the entire country. And you all can sell just about anything to our kids. And if anyone can get our kids to eat their vegetables, it's all of you.
On Thursday, the president got down to work with his export council with a meeting in the Eisenhower Executive Office building.
One of the biggest bright spots in our economy has been exports. The fact that Made in America means something and has provided a boost to our domestic economy and has reminded the world just how competitive we are.
To find out more information on any of these varied topical topics or to see complete videos of these events, go to whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
Should we sit in your chair before we
Yeah, go ahead, please. Feel free. Feel free. Just don't press any of the buttons.
2028.
All right.
I got it mapped out in my head.
We're almost there.